like adds an extra layer of confidence and stuff with difference. Actually,
yeah, I'd certainly agree with that.
So,
hey, good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. This is the 4th AMA today. We are here with Orbit, the Orbit ecosystem. Joining today is Jamie, Jamie Mateus. And Jamie, before we get started talking about the project, I know you guys are doing Relaunch, but give us a quick background of yourself, who you are, and how you got to be in the crypto space today.
Of course. So, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm Orbit CMO. I'm one of probably, I doubt it, probably a rare story, but I got into crypto quite late in comparison to a lot of people. So Orbit was actually the first ever project that I invested in. I came on board as an investor, got stuck into the community because I needed to, I became very obsessive with crypto, and as I'm sure many of you would have done, as like spending sort of like 12, 14, 16 hours a day just like getting stuck into VCs and learning your way through. But I already had a fairly extensive background in marketing anyway, because I'm a singer-songwriter by trade. Well, previously was a singer-songwriter before I got into this world. And ran my own business with it as well. So that's kind of how I got in. So as I said, I started out in the community. I made a mod, then became manager, and then ended up becoming CMO in quite a short space of time. So that's me. And as we're saying, it's a relaunch. So Orbit initially launched back in December. It actually launched as Orbit being the project name. The token was Andromeda M31. We are dropping that. The only reason the token was called that in the first place was because it was a bot prevention method, because we had the hyped up launch to kind of one of the things that was going to negate snipers and bots, which didn't really matter anyway because the whole launch did get sniped and botted. But yeah, that's me. And then the other kind of core members of like the C-level part of the company is Monk, who is CEO, previously famously from Baby Cake, that did 112 million in like 4 days, who wanted to then create this as a real sort of lasting utility token. So that's Monk, the CEO, and then we also have Fogash as well, who is the COO, who kind of had a similar journey to me, had a couple of successful businesses, got into crypto, and started out. Orbit was being part of the community and a mod, and getting promoted internally. So that's the team.
That's awesome, man. And Jamie, you've had quite the lucrative career. You look like a musician. I'd say that. What instrument did you play, or what instruments did you play?
Songwriter. I sing and I play guitar.
Beautiful. All right, and not to go on too much of a tangent, but let's start talking about the Orbit ecosystem, Orbit launch. I know that you guys relaunched. So before we go into a general overview, what was the reason for your relaunch? What went wrong the first time, and what would you guys do differently this time around?
Sure. So when we launched the first time, so like the very first launch, we had a V2 of that contract that wasn't really so much a relaunch as it was just literally we had to change very quickly a couple of things in the contract, because we wanted to introduce the lottery and staking system temporarily that we had, and so it was literally a case of airdrop 1-to-1 tokens, send back roll tokens if you can, but not required. But this time we are relaunching like as a proper actual relaunch for a couple of reasons. First and most importantly is because we are about to bridge a multi-chain bridge. So we're bridging over from BSC to Ethereum, AVAX and Polygon.
Beautiful.
That's kind of the main reason. But secondary is a reason why I wanted to make it like a big noticeable relaunch rather than just doing an update contract and then bridging, was because and I'm sure a lot of people that are in this community right now would have been there in December when we launched and seen how much hype and excitement and everything that was behind the project because of how it started, the previous project. But obviously, you're all aware that generally the launch hype kind of dies out over time, and particularly when you're then spending your time and resources then into developing your utility and your products, that that kind of aids, this is now an opportunity for us to not only do our multi-chain bridge, but also to bring over a load of new investors, a load of new community, more excitement. Everybody on launch will have immediate access to some fantastic utilities, and still have more exciting utilities left to come.
And Jamie, in regard to your bridge, is it only going to be meant for bridging over M31 tokens, or is it going to be a bridge that supports a number of different assets?
Sorry, you said that? Yeah.
So yeah, as far as your bridge is considered, you guys are building a multi-chain bridge. I'm curious to know if the bridge only supports M31 tokens, or if it's a bridge that allows users to bridge from chain to chain a wide array of assets like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like USDC, kind of like Synapse.
Yeah, so actually, so the bridge is for our token. So it's we are dropping the name M31 as well. So it's going to be pure Orbit from now on. So there's no M31, no Andromeda. Just because we want to keep everything on brand, and people sometimes get a bit confused when you say, "Oh, have you heard of Orbit?" and then they go onto the Dex tools, or the token is Andromeda or M31. So the actual initial stage of the bridge is for our tokens. So if you want to, there'll be arbitrage, there'll be the ability to, on one chain the price will be slightly lower, so you could buy low and then ended up bridging that over and selling it at a higher price on a bigger chain. This is create a lot of gains in that aspect, but the other side of things is it's going to enable us to, because as always all of our utilities, whilst they're in beta versions right now, and supporting BSC and Ethereum, it is going to enable us to then be able to utilize those utilities on other chains as well. So I'll obviously bring up what those utilities are in more detail in a minute, but for example, our exchange is going to enable us, like for our exchange to support multi-chain, our analytics to support multi-chain, and us to launch different projects on other chains, etc.
Certainly, and but just to clarify, the token is called the M31 token, right?
Currently, so they've eaten M31. But our relaunch is going to be, we're dropping the name at M31 Andromeda. It's going to be purely Orbit. So the project name has always been Orbit, and the token name has always been Andromeda M31. But for the relaunch, because we don't have to have the same bot prevention methods, and everybody already knows, it's just going to be pure Orbit. So the tip will be Orbit. Everything from that point will be Orbit.
So for the sake of the AMA, what would you like me to refer to the token as?
Orbit, if you don't mind. Just because.
Perfect. Yep. Orbit it is. So let's start out talking about the Orbit fund and how it works. Give us a high-level overview of that.
Sure. So the Orbit fund, in short, is a decentralized crypto trading fund. What that means is that depending on the tier of your allocation, so our starting tier is 2,500 tokens, and our highest tier is 250,000 tokens. So depending on what tier you're in, have access to basically a varying rate of return on investment monthly. So what happens is currently, and we're on a BSC at the moment, so you'll deposit BUSD as the stable coin to basically go into a trading fund, which is managed by traders that we're working with very high level of experience, and they trade that monthly, and their track record is significantly more than what we advertise as a return on investment, but they're the caps. And then what the idea behind the Orbit fund is that it's going to be our pretty much sole revenue stream going forward, because obviously we have a tax currently, which is and when we relaunch, which is 10% buy, 10% sell, but long term we want the Orbit fund to be our self-sustaining revenue stream, and so we can drop those taxes and then start to list on the major exchanges. But the Orbit fund itself, as I say, it's a really straightforward tool. You will go onto our DApp, connect your wallet up, and it will tell you what tier system you're in. You then just deposit your BSC. There will be like a 3-day trading, a depositing window that's open at the start, like round about the start of the month. That's your opportunity to get in. Once that depositing window is closed, you'll be unable to deposit until the next trading window, because basically the deposit window closes, then the trading window starts. And then at the end of the trading window, back when the depositing window starts again, you will be able to withdraw your return on investment and your initial. From the initial start part of this, so we are into our second month of the Orbit Fund. Everything is going completely smoothly. We've obviously had our first month. Everybody got their ROI. Everybody got their initial back. So we will be introducing an auto compound feature for that, which basically just means that you can let your money sit in there and accumulate for the duration. The only reason we haven't already introduced that is because we, like with a lot of these type of return on investment things that are offered, a lot of them could be Ponzi schemes. So we we basically are making people withdraw not only their return on investment but their initial at the end of every month to start with, just so that we can show that there's nothing left in the fund. Everybody got their money, everybody got their ROI, and it works. And then once we kind of built up a little bit more of a trust, a little bit more of a treasury as well, sort of like in kind of 3 to 4 months time, then we'll have that auto compound feature, and everybody can just sort of sit and let their money rise. Now, the thing is, the Orbit Fund, and something that it's one of our flagship utilities. Is probably is our flagship utility. Something that I think is very important to stress to all new investors and current people that are looking to invest within the Orbit Fund. We all in crypto, myself are included, are degens by nature, and very always wanting to get into a token that's going to do like a 10x or 100x, because we've all heard stories of somebody else that got involved in one of those coins that has gone parabolic. But the likelihood is the majority of like those kind of meme tokens, or the tokens without their utilities, you generally probably lose more than you'll win. So we really want to focus and encourage people to not stop them investing in those kind of projects, because one, it's part of the excitement of being in this space in the first place, but two, we don't want to stop people from having the opportunity to have those big gains and those big wins. But things like the Orbit Fund, we really encourage people to look at those types of investments as a passive source of income, but also as a sensible, smart way of saving your money. Because obviously, if you're going to go put it in a savings account in a bank, it's going to earn you next to nothing from interest perspective. But to give you like a rough idea of how it would work if you actually played it as a long-term investment, if you were to invest in the highest tier, which is a 10% bracket, with $10,000, say, for example, and I know that's a lot of money for some people. I'm not saying that everyone's got 10,000, but just as make the example as simple as possible. If you were to invest $10,000 into the Orbit Fund, and you were to compound that after a year, 10,000 compounded at 10% monthly ROI would leave you with just over $30,000. If you were to then compound that for a second year, you'd have close to $100,000. And if you were to then compound that for a third year, you'd have over $300,000 in the bank from a 10,000 initial investment. So it's really important to see that, yes, and the problem is if I could guarantee you like a 30x, but it's going to take 3 years. But in this space, 3 years is an absolute lifetime. So people will be like, but it's important to have varying streams of income that you do your degen plays, you do your investments that you think are going to skyrocket over time, and then you have your smart safer investments that may not be getting you your 100x's, but they're definitely going to be giving you sizable returns. So that's the Orbit Fund.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. And that was quite extensive. We appreciate all the detail you provided there. What are the minimum and maximum amounts of Orbit that a user can invest at once? Is there a cap on either, or a cap and floor on either?
So, like, as in, how much can they invest into the Orbit Fund?
Correct.
No, there's no minimum max.
Understood. And how many earning tiers are there? I think you might have mentioned this. And what are the earning rates for each tier, respectively?
So there's seven tiers. got the minimum tier, which is 2,500 tokens. Off the top of my head, I can't give you exact figure of what that is, but it was about on when we suspended trading, I think that's about $150 for that minimum tier, and then it goes in increments up there. So it's 2,500 is the lowest, then 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, and then 250,000.
Beautiful. Jamie, let's move on to the Orbit pad, how that works and what makes it different from all the other launch pads that are currently out there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Orbit, to be honest with you guys, I'm very, very into like transparency and not trying to bullshit you to sell my product. Like the Orbit pad, we believe is a great utility, but it's not something where I'm going to say we are worlds apart from any other launch pad on there, because it's there's only so many ways to skin a cat, in my opinion, when it comes to launch pads. We're collaborative, so we're not there trying to be the only launch pad in the space, and we think that often it's beneficial for projects to take on multiple launch pads rather than only going with one, because you have varying levels of different investors and communities, and we like the idea of collaborating and to help support projects succeed. The other side of things as well with the pad, so the things that are like most important to us is, one, safety and security, and two, getting the right types of projects on there. So we're not pads that are going to list projects every day, just for the sake of getting an extra review or basically trying to look like we're active as possible. We would much rather do less is more. So we only take on projects that we genuinely believe have real use cases, real working utilities, and they're going to be sustainable long term. So no meme coins, no shit coins. Even though personally I like a little gamble, it's not something that we basically reduce our investors' risk of losing their money. We can't be responsible for projects not being successful, but we can at least give opportunities to have the best chances of succeeding as possible. So we've launched a few projects so far. Really happy with all of them, and we are going to have so we're launching on the 5th of May. We're going to have our first raise after trading has been trading continues. On the first raise should be within 24 hours, so there'll be something for people to get their teeth stuck into there.
Beautiful. Jamie, before we move on from the Orbit pad, I had a few questions. One, you said some projects have already launched. Can you tell us which ones?
Yeah, so you'll probably already be aware of them, because I imagine there'll be a lot of crossover between AMAs. So we had Dripto, we had Samurai Legends.
Ooh, nice.
We had, this is going to look really bad of me, but I can't remember. Helped Joincoin to launch, but they weren't actually on our pad because the pad wasn't ready at the time. Who was the first people that we launched? I think it was Samurai. Was it Samurai Legends? I don't know, but yeah, they're the kind of standards. So obviously, you know Samurai Legends.
Yeah, to them, and I know Dripto as well, obviously, and Joincoin.
Yeah, so all, as I say, all kind of like working utility projects that have use cases and a future. Yeah, I'm particularly bullish on Samurai Legends, because I think like their tokenomic structure and gameplay looks amazing. So yeah. Likewise, man. I actually need to. I have written in my notes here. I need to go and do a little bit of more deeper dive into their project. I really liked what they had to share. Tokenomics are great, but again, don't want to go on a tangent here. Yeah,
I'm just happy you mentioned them. What is the minimum amount of Orbit tokens that holders need to stake in their or hold in their wallet in order to be whitelisted for a lot of these projects?
2,500 tokens. So that bottom end tier is the bottom end tier for all utility.
And how exactly are you guys vetting projects at a high level to make sure they're legitimate? I know it's very important for you not to have scams, honeypots, rug pulls. What are some measures you guys are taking to make sure this doesn't happen and to protect your investors?
Yeah, of course, and that is what, like, fundamentally one of the most important things that is there for our launchpad. So firstly, the very first thing that I'll do with any project is jump on a Zoom call with them if they're willing to do so, which most of them, well, all of them so far have. I appreciate that not every single person wants to dox, whether that be public or privately, but so far everybody has been fine with that. If they're not willing to dox their face, then regardless, a KYC in some way, shape, or form is important. So obviously, we use JoinCoin as a partnership to make sure that the projects are vetted, the contracts are vetted, and the KYC is done as well. So we don't necessarily need them to KYC with us, but that it is important that has been done by somebody that's trusted. And then a real deep dive into the type of project. As I say, you can once all of the track side of things been looked at and the KYC been done, then it's about actually looking into the nitty gritty side of the project. As I say, it's you can immediately tell from what people's white papers are, from what their plans are going forward, as to what type of project that they are. And as I say, because we're not going to launch anything that doesn't have a real utility behind it, you can see from what they've built and what they're building as to whether or not that project actually got a use case in the first place. And then it's just a case of really sort of diving into what they're about, what they're looking to achieve. A big question I ask is what they're in the space for. What, obviously, aside from money, which the 99% of people here are for, what are their goals, what they're looking to achieve? Are they looking to just basically make the thing moon, or are they looking to actually make a lasting footprint within the space? So that all of those things, it takes a while. It's not something we just okay, cool, a project wants to launch on the pad, let's get them on it. It does take a little while for me to find out. And as I say, I do chat to them extensively on Zoom generally before we get anywhere in terms of actually going down a listing route.
Yeah, Jamie, and I couldn't have said that better myself, to be honest with you. You did mention a JoinCoin partnership that's quite lucrative. Are there any other major partnerships that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we're partnering with Everise to facilitate our multi-chain bridge. So we're using a couple of their utilities. So as I say, they're going to be there with us on launch day. And I'm sure most of you are aware of Everise, but really super bullish on their project as well. I think it's nice to invest in a project that not only is great from a market cap perspective, but their utilities are some of the best that I've seen in the space. So really, really happy and excited to be partnered with them. We do multiple launchpad partnerships as well. So as I said before, we really believe in collaborative efforts in this space and not trying to be the be all and end all of something. And so having various collaborations with different pads enables us to be able to provide a better service to projects that we launch, because a lot of them are looking to raise quite considerable sums of money, and we don't want to say, okay, yeah, we'll raise it and not. So we'd rather get a slightly smaller allocation and then help them find other pads that are going to also be able to provide those allocations, so they build up, so they benefit not only from a financial raise, but a varying different levels of community as well. I can't remember actually what the question was now, so I'm not sure if that answered it. But
no, it's all good. I appreciate the stream of thought. Jamie, what sort of information will Orbit Analytics provide their users?
So I'm just trying to see whether I can share my screen here. So bear with me 2 seconds, because
certainly.
Because I have something, and I didn't intend to get my laptop, but it has died and I don't charge us. So marketing. I'm so the analytics side of things, guys, is one of the things that I'm really excited about, because I genuinely believe that this is the from a user interface perspective and from a level of data is going to be better than anything else that's in the space when you take it. So let me see if I can share my screen. This may end up booting me out of Telegram. So if I leave, guys, it's not. I'll be straight back.
Wait for you.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Right. Phone screen. Broadcast. Cool. Can you guys see my screen?
I do not see your screen.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted you to hear.
There we go.
Oh, I've just cancelled it now.
No, we're good. Oh, you just said we had it up for a second and then we lost you.
Okay, 2 seconds. Let me bring that back up again. Cool. Can you see?
Nope, we cannot. There we go. There we go. Don't. Yeah, we're good. I think
Cool.
there's a bit of lag, but oh well.
No No worries. So let me zoom in here. So you're going to have, and these are just beta versions at the moment. So if you can see right down here, you're going to have a public safety rating for the projects, which is going to be gathered by varying. So when people connect their wallets up, they'll basically essentially be providing multiple streams of data from other projects that they've already invested in. So that public safety rating will tell you if the LP's locked, what type of launch it's had. It'll give you like if the devs are docked, KYC'd, etc. The contract's audited, and that'll give you obviously a decent score there. So you've got the holder information, which is going to tell you how long holders have generally been holding the project for. It'll also tell you what type of investors that the project has. So are they predominantly people that come in, usually get in and out and flip coins, or they're generally diamond handed investors? You're going to have, as I say, different streams of volume. So rather than just like it tells you the 24-hour volume, you'll be able to input custom volume for the charts as well, varying levels of time that you can see how the tokens are distributed, the top wallet holders, how long they've been holding for, etc. So and also what other tokens are most shared, the holder also holding there. So how many members of which tokens are holding which other products and stuff. So there you go. As you can see, you've got key indicators, you've got your safety ratings, etc. So it's that's in its beta version at the moment. It's not too far away from completion. Let me just stop sharing the screen now. It's not too far away from completion, and it's something really excited about. I don't know maybe I'm biased, but looking at that, I don't think, particularly from a user interface, there's anything that looks quite as nice as that. But also the data available is going to be like level above anything else that's on the space. So I do think that's going to be a really big thing, really big deal for us.
Yeah, it looked clean. There was a wide array of information, and I'd be curious to know when you predict the official launch and when users will actually be able to pull data from it.
Yeah, so the beta version of that is likely to be out within the next month or so. So it's not far away. We're just putting in some more things back end at the moment. Obviously, you can see from the front end, the front end's pretty much done. So just some more API work, and then once that's ready to go, obviously it'll be shared with the community.
Awesome. Let's move on to the Orbit exchange and what makes that special.
So the Orbit exchange is something that I don't, again, like full transparency with you guys, I don't want to sit there and overhype something that doesn't need to be overhyped. The Orbit exchange is a great utility to have as part of our ecosystem, but it isn't like a world beating like wow factor. It's essentially it's a front end exchange that you will see on multiple websites, and it looks cool. I think, like from a user interface perspective as well, it looks really cool, and I think it's slightly easier to use than some, but it's not. Again, it's not something that I want to be like, guys, this is the most incredible thing, because obviously it does the same things as a lot of them, and in order for us to For that to be a major successful utility, it requires complete mass user adoption. But we will have, within the exchange, we will have a 50-50 revenue share with our investors as well, because we'll be running like advertisements on the platform and stuff. So
50-50 revenue share is quite a bit. How would investors earn that kind of a pie, or that slice of the pie? Excuse me.
Yeah, by holding. So basically, what we'll do is we'll when the obviously the advertisement money comes in, obviously 50% of that will stay as company money, and 50% of that will be just redistributed amongst holders.
Understood. Can you give us a high-level overview of the Orbit tokenomics?
Yeah, so a little bit more complicated now because we're across the chain. But from a supply perspective, it doesn't change. We have 100 million supply, 10% buy tax, 10% sell tax. The liquidity, now I don't have this information to hand, which I really should do for a big AMA. But the liquidity ratio on launch will be low. And that's not by a personal choice. We would much prefer high liquidity, but for two reasons. One, because even though the supply comes across, even though the supply is only 100 million tokens, full stop, and there are only 100 million tokens, it's still, because of the way the bridge works, it's still 100 million tokens per chain. So you have liquidity per chain, and as well as that, we had some very complicated maths to work out in terms of liquidity ratios, because we wanted to raise $1 million as part of the relaunch, but raising $1 million with the amount of tokens that we actually had available to put into liquidity and everything would have meant that we would have launched at about 3.5 times what we suspended trading at, which meant we'd have a huge disparity between V2 holders and the pre-salers and people that are buying on launch. And whilst we would love our holders to be in a 3 times profit, it would just create a complete bloodbath. So we had to work it out in a way that we still raise. So we're raising 600,000 as a hard cap now, and the token price is roughly where we wanted it to be. So the pre-sellers are getting in at 9 cents, and the launch price is going to be at 12 cents. I think liquidity total is about 4%, but there's going to be because we're learning from everything that happened last time, there's going to be a 90% sell tax on launch for 10 minutes, and that's purely just to wreck the bots and snipers. That's going to be widely advertised so that nobody gets wrecked. And then there's going to be a sliding scale tax. Now, this isn't always the most popular thing, and personally, if it was a V1 launch, I don't like the idea of sliding scale taxes, because I think it doesn't create necessarily the best kind of environment. We all love free trade more than anything, but we have to, one, think about the liquidity side of things, and two, we have to think about the fact that there are still going to be people in decent, V2 holders that are going to be in half decent profit, nowhere near what it was going to be initially, so that it negates some of that sell pressure and helps us to really beef out the liquidity pools in that period of time. So there's going to be 90% sell tax for 10 minutes, then it goes down to 50%, and then it will go down per hour 10% until it gets back down to our normal 10%. So huge chunks of that's going to go into liquidity, which thickens it out and sort of makes the price action volatile.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a moment and ask you, what would you say to investors that don't trust an adjustable tax mechanism in the contract? So I'm an investor and I'm asking you, how can we trust you guys to not raise the tax in the future, or I don't know, act maliciously, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a very valid and fair question, I think. I mean, we've had this project since December, and we've not done anything with the taxes except for on launch. So I would like to hope that provides some level of trust. But it's it's not even something that we really particularly wanted to do. In my eyes, we just launch and have taxes as normal. I'd actually like a 0% tax tokens. I'm a big fan of a lot of the 0% tax tokens that are out there at the moment, but obviously we need it for company revenue streams. So it's a personal choice, I guess. I mean, we're never going to raise the taxes, because I think as soon as you start getting into the realms of raising taxes and playing those games, you're just going to lose investor confidence and trust, which is why right off the bat is that we want to be completely transparent and tell exactly what that tax is going to be during launch day, and it'll go back to 10% after that, and it will never return higher than that. The only thing that's going to the only thing that will happen with the taxes in the long term, and the only reason why we don't lock our liquidity for like a year or two, is because at some point we want to completely abolish the tax, so that we can rely purely on Orbit Fund as our main revenue stream, and then start to list on the major centralized exchanges.
So, sorry. Tell us a bit about the marketing campaign you guys currently have deployed rather, and what some of the more lucrative strategies you guys are using to create exposure and get your name out there.
Yeah, so we've got some huge things coming up. So from a marketing perspective, obviously we're doing the usual things that you do in the build up to a launch. So we're doing our your standard paid callers that will send a load of new people into the Telegram, and other callers that just want some whitelist spots. We're going and doing our AMA tour with wonderful people such as yourselves. We're getting YouTubers in, and so all of the things that you kind of expect from that side of things. As we mentioned last time, we have our Orbit Lamborghini that's going to be given away to one of our investors, and that's something that we've slowly started to build our content around. So you'll start to see more and more videos and content of that. We've already posted one. I've got a bit of a trailer to share with you guys, as well, as to just like a little 35-second thing, kind of covers everything that we do. The main thing in the build up to launch that really separates us from anything that anyone's done before, is that we are sending a meteorological balloon up into space. So like completely out into outer space. That's going to be a whole launch event that we're going to have a load of PR around. The whole thing's live streamed from 3 different camera angles. So there's a cameraman and two onboard cameras, and then we have iPads that are at the end of the cameras, where it will display partner logos, our own logo obviously, and we've also taken a few investors that have won competitions with their faces, so that they get taken into space with us. And the duration of that event is going to be sort of like our big hyped up launch event, and then the second that balloon pops, once it reaches into as far into space as it's going to go, that's when we're going to open trading. So it's going to create a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz, and then we have obviously post launch, we've got like a big marketing sort of strategy and campaign around that. We'll obviously have significantly more funds to spend as well, because we'll have raised a decent amount, and obviously start to have more volume increasing from that way. So we'll be able to do. I want to start getting into more sponsorships, like event sponsorships, athlete sponsorships, people that are public figures, not like random celebrities to promote it, actually like sponsor a lot of things. So there's going to be lots of different things that are coming up from a marketing perspective, and things that I'm just genuinely really excited about. But particularly that launch event, I think is going to be a very big deal, because nothing has been done like that in the space. And as I say, obviously Lamborghini, who doesn't want to win a Lamborghini? So it's a very, very good little marketing tool as well.
Yeah, and what are some specific ways that investors can qualify for these giveaways, specifically the Lamborghini?
Is your chat locked at the moment? Because I'd like to show you the video.
It is locked, but if you wanna DM it to me, I can then forward it to the main chat.
Yes, I will do that for you. Bear with me 2 seconds, sir.
Certainly. And audience members, while he does that, if you have questions, start raising your hands, because I'm gonna start calling on people very soon here.
Cool. So Where are you? Who am I looking for here, Noah? There you are.
Haven't gotten anything yet.
It's all right. So the bliss of my phone, I think, is deciding it's like pretty much at its limit for everything. Illy, are you in this chat? If you are, could you just forward Noah that video for me, please? I don't even know if Illy's here, but probably not. Hang on. Cool. Yeah, Illy's just about to send that through to you. So what we'll do is if we take some questions, and then when you get that through, then you can either post that or show it on your screen or whatever.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so when you were talking just now, you said you're open to sponsorships and you're more likely for sponsorships. You prefer sponsorships better than celebrities for coming in. So it got to my head like, okay, are you gonna be having something like an ambassador program whereby I will be part of to like kind of help spread the word to places in Africa and to other parts of the world where crypto is not really, will I say, has not really touched on those places. So I'm gonna be having something like that.
That wasn't specifically what I was talking about, but if there's an opportunity where I feel that it's going to be kind of a mutually beneficial thing, but for us, there's absolutely no reason why I wouldn't consider it.
Oh, okay. They're really nice, really nice. That's great.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Well,
Okay.
please wait until you're called on. I'd like to keep things pretty constructed, but it's okay. You can go for it this time. In the future, though, I like to call on people before they ask.
Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, I want to know how does your stake system work? Like, can you tell me the requirements for users if they want to stake in your platform?
So we don't have any more traditional staking methods. So when we did have staking, which was sort of the end of December, January kind of time, it was more of a stopgap to have something to keep people invested because they were receiving extra tokens and access to a lottery each week. So conventional staking no longer exists. However, what we will be requiring for people that want to use the Orbit fund or invest into projects on the Orbit pad is there will just be a token lock. So we haven't decided for the exact amount of time for that's going to be the case. The Orbit fund will likely be a token lock for as long as your remaining investment fund, and the pad maybe like sort of like 14 days or so, but that hasn't been completely decided. But on when we relaunch that, those token locks will be a thing, because that's another thing that's going to negate against some of that sell pressure from people wanting to just sell their profits on launch day. I hope that answered your question.
Oh, okay. And would you also?
Oh, she gone?
We lost you there, Rebel. Let's move the next question from Aisha.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, I have read about your Orbit analytics tool. You also discussed about it, which is a simple but powerful tool enabling high-level trading decisions with contemporaneous aggregate data. I was wondering that will this analytic tool? Okay.
Sorry, Aisha, go for it. Continue.
I was wondering that will this analytic tool only help crypto experts to make trading decisions, or it can also help new investors in crypto to make trading decisions?
No, and that's a very good question, and thank you so much for asking it. No, it's designed to have varying levels and degrees of information available, but we wanted to make, that's why the user interface is designed to be really simplistic and easy to read. So we really be able to help people that are new investors to make smarter decisions as well, but there will be access to really like high level on-chain data for people that are a bit more experts, have a bit more expertise in there as well.
Okay, got it. Okay, free version of the Orbit Analytics tool is available to all the members. I want to know that what features will be available in the premium version of the analytic tool.
That's a very good question. I think I don't know. I can't give you an exact answer for that purely because I don't know exactly what the difference is between like a premium version or and the regular version will be. So I think the best thing, if you are interested in the analytics tool, which I very much am, so myself, would be head over to our community. Our COO Foliash would be the best person to answer that question. I'm sure he'd be happy to. But I don't know the exact details, so I wouldn't want to give you the wrong answer.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Both really great questions. Thank you.
Yeah, Aisha, awesome questions. Next up, we have Easy. Easy, take it away.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing? So my question is very straightforward. I was checking through your website, so I found out there are some features that is coming soon. So I want to know, like from a scale of 1 to 100, how ready is your project?
So, well, I don't want to give you like a number because that would be a completely random number I'm giving you. But so the two utilities are already out, which are the fund, the pad. They're both in beta version, so they should be all V1 versions of that within the next probably 2 months. The analytics and the exchange, which are the features that you're saying are coming soon, they'll be ready probably within 1 month as beta versions, and then it will be like for the full scale V1 versions of those with no bugs or errors will be probably another couple of months afterwards. So we should have a working platform of everything, all 4 utilities within the next sort of month and a half.
Hello.
Thank you for the response. And Easy, thank you.
So my second question is, I've done a little code on. Can I go on?
Yeah, go for it, man. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. On marketing, so I know the importance of timing in this kind of project. So do you just put out your features at any time, or do you take a market feasibility study to know the right time of releasing each feature of your project?
Sorry, you cut out for a chunk of that. Noah, did you get that? Or
I also did not get that. Do you mind repeating the last part of that, please, Easy?
Okay, yeah. So the question is, the timing is important in any project if when you are releasing your features. So I want to know, do you do a market feasibility studies to ensure that the timing of releasing your features are well accurate?
okay. So honestly, not so much. I'd love to sit there and go, we meticulously plan the rollout of each feature, but no, to be honest, we're very careful in terms. So like the Orbit Fund, that's done strategically because it has to be lined up perfectly for when people are like ready to invest and deposit their money.
Yeah.
But the other things is going to be a case of once we have them ready. I mean, it'll be strategic in the sense of we won't just like dump it. It'll be a rollout of like, okay, on this day we're going to be going live, so it builds up a little bit of excitement, anticipation. But in terms of actually saying like we've meticulously planned every detail down to when it's going to be released, probably not so much, no.
Okay. But I'm sure there's a follow-up system for your program, like a
Yeah,
proper follow system.
yeah, and it'll be integrated with different like sort of marketing resources and everything. So it's so it actually has an impact when it comes on the market. One other thing I forgot to mention as well, guys, which is pretty important, and obviously you guys at Coin Talk are free to use it to make yourselves a bit of extra passive. We've just rolled out, and it's in infant stages as well, is the referral system for Orbit Fund. So basically, whether or not you invest personally into the Orbit Fund, you can go onto the website, get a unique referral link. And refer other people that are interested in depositing money to get passive income, and you will also receive a percentage of revenue from that. So if for everyone that you refer, you receive 0.75% of what they've invested, which doesn't come out of anything that they receive. So that's on top of that. Anyone that they refer, you receive 0.5%. ROI from, and everyone that they refer, you'll receive 0.25%. So if you were to refer 10 people who referred 10 people who referred 10 people, you'd have 1,000 people in your network that you'd be getting return on investment from monthly, which will generally lead to pretty significant gains. So that's something that's probably quite important to bear in mind, that even if you're not looking to invest in the fund yourself, if you help to refer people, you're going to be generate passive income for a significant period of time.
All right, thank you. No, thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks, Easy.
No, Telegram bugged out there. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Easy, thank you for the questions. Next up is Western Beast, the crypto geek.
Opportunity, Noah. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. Jamie, I am actually listening on to your project. It's actually a great project. You have a hint of honesty in your project, considering the fact that it's in beta stages. So, do you roll out your beta platforms for pre-testing, or do you select specific members to test these programs for you?
So we have, so it will get tested internally first, and then it goes out as a beta version. So all of our holders are able to use it. So it's not just like a select few; everyone has access to it. But obviously, we then use that kind of that market response to things to be able to like fix any errors, take feedback on for things that work well, things that don't work so well, so that we can then use that to improve our service for the proper V1.
Okay, so that's actually understandable. So what is the best feedback? How much feedback have you gotten from your community, and compared to your internal internal beta testing feature? Is it the community? What specifics are you what specifics do you prefer on this your beta testing model? So far, what have you been getting?
So internally, we probably have like less feedback as such, because the things that get tested internally are pretty straightforward. It's like, does this work? No. Does it work? Yes. So that's a case of being built and then tested until we kind of like it's at a stage where we can roll it out. In terms of community feedback, we get a lot. And it's really, really helpful to be able to draw upon everything that gets said. So it's either things that don't like categorically just don't work for them, in which case there's bugs or issues in some certain amount of coding that will need to be ironed out, or it will be like suggestions that things that could be done slightly differently. Could be from a user interface perspective, it could be from a complication in terms of like connecting wallets or whatever that may be. So it's just things that are needing to simplify the process, and then we'll sit there and we'll work on that until like everybody can carry on using the beta versions, and then we'll work on all of those issues until we're ready to kind of roll out the proper V1s.
All right. On one of our previous AMAs today, I tackled someone on his referral program. I'm also going to direct that my signature question to you.
Yep.
You said if I bring somebody, I get 0.7%. Am I right?
0.75%. Yeah.
Okay, 0.75. And if I bring someone else, I also get what? And that
0.5.
person brings someone else. Okay.
5.
So 1 point. What's the lowest point?
So it'd be 0.75% for everyone that you directly refer. So every single person, whether that be one person or whether that be 100 people. 0.5% for the people that you refer as referrals, so the next level down, and it's 0.25% for their referrals. So you have 3 levels. That's as far down as it goes.
Okay, so it stops at level 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when I acquire a massive amount of referrals? Is there any special feature in line for me if this happens?
Nope. It just means that you're going to make significantly more money.
All right. This is my signature question in regards to your referral program. How do you intend to tackle fake referrals on your system? Do you use the IP? Do you use the basic IP tackling system that most other projects use?
There's not really a way of faking it, because you have to. So people will have to connect their wallets using your referral link, and so you're only making money if those people click on links, but they actually deposit BUSD into the Orbit fund. So unless they've deposited, you can't really have a fake referral.
All right, that's great. That's actually a great way to tackle it. All right, thanks a lot for the opportunity, Noah.
You're welcome. Oh no.
Thank you to Jamie.
Yeah, he says thank you as well, Jamie. And Western Beast, thank you for the well thought out questions as always. Next up, we have Sayed.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Okay, so you mentioned about OrbitPad, and 2 wonderful projects, Crypto and Samurai Legends, have had successful pre-sale on your platform. So I was wondering that which project are next lined up to use your OrbitPad?
So that it's not yet to be revealed. We have 2 lined up. I don't really want to detract too much attention away from our own launch at the moment. And so they're going to be announced either just before launch or on launch, because we're going to be raising for one of them the day after we launch. But we've got 2 really good projects lined up.
Understood. And I was wondering that fees for the OrbitPad, are they accepted in your native token or they are in BNB and Ethereum?
So the what do we raise on?
No. Fee that you take from projects team.
Sorry?
Fee that you take from projects. I was referring to that.
Yeah, so I mean we're pretty flexible. So I think generally speaking, most projects would probably rather pay fees in BUSD. We don't force them to give us tokens, but if projects wanted to give us tokens instead, then we would happily take them and have invested or whatever. We also, any fees that we do receive from a project, we don't distribute them amongst our team. We invest them in the project and basically hold them so that we can sort of be a part of their journey up. And obviously, in a year's time or whatever, if it's in decent profit, then we'll have some good profits to take out of it.
Got it. And are you also offering marketing services to the projects using OrbitPad?
Yeah, if that's something that they want, it's definitely something we can offer for sure. It's it's not like a fundamental or it's required, but if they want assistance with marketing, we're absolutely willing to help.
Okay, moving to my final question. So on your white paper, I've read that qualified Orbit holders will receive a target percentages of the platform ad revenue. So I was wondering that which qualified holders will be receiving the percentages of the ad revenue? I mean, how can holders become eligible for these rewards?
Basically, qualified holders is just people that are currently holding M31 tokens. So I don't think there's a specific qualifying criteria other than being an M31 holder. Sorry,
okay,
an Orbit. out of the habit of saying M31 because we're not going to be M31 for relaunch. So Orbit.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for explaining that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks very much for the questions.
Thanks, Sayed.
And on this AMA as well.
Yeah, man, we have some pretty diligent audience members. Crypto Elite next.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
thank you very much. My fellow crypto light. Let me put it that way. I want to ask about, you spoke about 3 levels of referral system.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So how sustainable would this be? Like, because from my experience, I know very well that this type of multiple level referral rewards usually crashes the system. Like,
Yeah.
I've been to many of it. So I want to know what is that special plan you have so that what we have experienced in the previous will not reoccur in the present.
Yeah, sure. So let me, that's actually a very simplistic answer. I think the reason why that would crash before is because there's only so much revenue or whatever in most multi-level marketing. So the reason why it works absolutely fine for us. So the Orbit Fund is essentially, as I said, it's a trading platform that our experienced traders generally month by month have earn significantly more monthly ROI than what we advertise as being available to our investors, which means that we also then have, because we're taking profits and we're using the ROI that's received on top of what we have to pay the investors who are in the Orbit Fund, we have a lot more of a percentage to play with. So if we're offering it, if we're offering those 3 levels in total, the maximum that you can receive from in total is 1.5%, because as I say, it's a 0.75 for the top tier, 0.5 from the tier below, and 0.25 from the tier below that. So that equates to 1.5%. So at the maximum, we are taking 11.5% ROI monthly, because if you're talking that are in the 10% bracket, it'll be 1.5% on top of that, which we will comfortably be having more than that monthly as our returns from the trader, which we'd be using the profits as company revenue stream. So that's how we're able to offer it. It's literally just an extra tiny bit of percentage on top of what we're advertising, giving our holders back. I hope that made sense. But yeah, there's never going to be an issue with running out of like funds for that, for example.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. My next question is, so are you planning on building a complete ecosystem whereby there's going to be both investment and kind of exchange? You understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's essentially what we are building at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the other mechanisms on ground to increase the value of your token?
Mm-hmm. Well,
because based on what we are building, obviously the token value will also come to play. It will help maybe those of us that are coming in from the beginning. When the token appreciates, yeah, we can make extra profit from that, aside from maybe we want to invest in the trading, whatever, right? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, what we want it to be is that the Orbit token is people's long-term nest egg. That's the thing that's going to really significantly rise in value over time. The more people we have using the Orbit Fund, the more people we have like referring people to use the Orbit Fund, the bigger the revenue streams that we're going to be able to have, that's going to enable us to market things further and push people more into that. And the more people, it's a trust thing and being able to see that a product genuinely works. You know, people were interested, and we've had a lot of interest in the Orbit Fund, but people were always going to be apprehensive about something that requires them to spend additional money that's getting traded. So people want to spend time seeing that works. The longer period of time that we're able to showcase that is working, and people are able to generate significant income monthly by doing that, the more people that are going to gravitate towards it, put more money into it, tell their friends that they're making passive return on investment by literally just putting money into something every month. That they're all new things that are going to help to basically for price appreciation and people getting, as I say, it's all word of mouth, big marketing money, everything that's going to basically help us to increase the price gradually.
All right, thank you very much. I really hope this works. I really hope it works, because I've been in something like this back in maybe around 2017, and really the end of it wasn't too pleasant. So I really hope it. I will especially pay more attention to your projects. Like, seriously, I'm really interested in it, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the questions, and obviously stick around. I'm certain that maybe the issues that you had in a different project are probably not going to be the same kind of things that we will. So
sweet. Thank you for the questions. Jamie, we're at the end of the AMA here.
Cool.
Thank you again for being with us. I love everything you guys are doing, from the Orbit Fund to the Orbit Pad to the exchange to the analytics. I think you guys have a bright future ahead of you. I love the transparency and the honesty that you came in here with today, and the time you took to answer all of our community's questions. Before we go, for our audience members that are joining in a bit late, can you give us a quick summary of who you are, the ecosystem that you're building, and why people should consider investing in your project?
Absolutely. So, hey guys, I'm Jamie. I'm the CMO of Orbit. To give you a very brief rundown, we have four brilliant utilities. We have Orbit Fund, which is a decentralized crypto trading platform, which basically enables you to deposit BUSD into something monthly, compound it if you want to, and receive a return on investment of between 7 to 10%, depending on your tier. We have Orbit Pad, which is going to give you access to really top-notch vetted utility projects that we truly believe in, that have lasting success, that will have lasting success within the space. We have Orbit Analytics, which is a very detailed on-chain data analytics platform tool that's going to help you to make smarter investment choices based upon a variety of different data and API. And then we have Orbit Exchange, which is a front-end exchange, which will help you to swap tokens like many others can. We have a Lamborghini that's going to be given away to one of our holders, a Lamborghini Gallardo LP550 that's wrapped in black and got Orbit branding on it. So that is going to be on its way to one of our diamond-handed holders at some point in the very near future. And we are also going to be doing a huge launch event from space. Going to be a couple of hours long, and we're really, really excited for it. We're going to be a meter weather balloon up into space, and the second that balloon bursts is when we're going to start trading. It's going to be a bunch of guest speakers, lots of communities and excitements, and we have a shitload of competitions going on at the moment as well. Lots of money and white spots and all that to be won. So please keep an eye out for that. I'm going to head over to our Telegram shortly as well. So if there's any more people that want to kind of get involved and come and have a chat with me, please do. There's a team of 24/7 mods there as well that will answer any questions that you've got. And I believe as well, you guys have got some whitelist spots to give away that for us as well. So obviously keep an eye out on that, because I'm sure you guys deal with distributing that. So yeah, thanks so much for having us, Noah. Ladizzle, pleasure as always, my friend. Hope to obviously speak to you guys soon, and please come stick around for the launch event as well, because it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, Jamie, it's been our pleasure. And anytime you want to come back and do a follow-up AMA with Whalecoin Talk, I'd be happy to host you. Everyone, this is Orbit. The Orbit ecosystem is very exciting. Go check them out, www.orbitlaunch.io. Engage with their Twitter. get into their Telegram, ask Jamie all the questions you have. He's been super transparent, super honest, very pleasant to speak to today. Excuse me, talking a little fast here. Just a reminder, guys, Whale Coin Talk is an educational channel. We do not give investment advice. We are here to facilitate and help you make the best decisions you can possibly make. But at the end of the day, you need to do your own research and only invest what you're willing to lose. Jamie, again, thank you for being with us today. It's been a pleasure. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you, guys. Take care.